One team, one podcast back. Audio difficulties with the guy on the top right, Jack.
Yeah,
What
just,
is
I
going
just
on?
gotta. All I had to do was press X.
And now you're all
on
flustered.
one thing. Yep,
Yeah, you're all flustered.
2 weeks in a row.
Jack, we got Fade Charlie down at the bottom over there, and we appreciate everybody joining. We're going to talk a little LSU, Tennessee, obviously, going to Florida this week. Hopefully, we can right the ship. We're going to talk a little Eli Ricks. Little Eli Ricks drama, the drama king, Eli Ricks. We're going to talk. We'll talk about some games coming up, especially Alabama, Tennessee this week. Before we even get started, though, big shout out to our sponsors, Bank of England Mortgage. We appreciate BOE, southernstates.com. Patrick Michelson, he's been awesome for us. At the Baton Rouge office, call 225-810-1805. They're our audio sponsor for all of our podcasts. Use their Fast App feature online to apply, and they can find the best options for you. Also, Fred's in Tigerland. So, well, there's River. No. Hey, you switched it on me. Okay, Fred's in Tigerland. Oh, River City's total maintenance. Oh, God. All right, Fred's in Tigerland. There it is. Okay. All right. Since 1982, Fred's in Tigerland. Jason Nay just had his birthday the other day. So if you see Nay this weekend, let him know happy birthday. We appreciate those guys. Best screwdrivers in town. Go see Nay and the boys, Harry, all those guys. We appreciate them. Also, now you can put it up. River City's total maintenance. Lucas Ragusa. I was just at the game with Lucas this weekend, so Lucas is doing great. Just came back from a carrier convention in Las Vegas. So they're an authorized carrier dealer, NOLA-AC.com. They cover the North Shore and New Orleans area. They do not only AC work, but they also do plumbing repair. Any kind of maintenance needs for your house, they'll hook you up. So call Lucas Ragusa, 504-841-3300. Okay, so let's get into it. Like I said, I was at the game on Saturday. I think all y'all were. Pretty much a shit show from opening kickoff, obviously.
Yep.
Very deflating. And Charlie and I were talking about this. Very deflating to accept the kickoff and then fumble it opening kick and completely give away a possession and 2 touchdowns. So if you think about it, it's like the opening kickoff, fumble, touchdown. Second half, they get the ball back, touchdown. That's 14 fucking points in 0 possessions.
I thought they got a field goal in the second one, huh? So it was 10
I thought it was.
It was 10
I thought it was
because
14.
they were trying to
half?
punt to like the 30, and then they went 3 and out and kicked the field goal. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the opening possession of the second half.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They scored a touchdown.
Okay.
So I'm saying first possession for them, touchdown. The first possession of the second half, touchdown.
Oh, yeah. No, they got the ball first twice.
Yes. Yeah. And scored touchdowns both times. Yeah. So you put yourself not only in a 10-0 hole in the game, but it was also 14-0 in the big scheme of things.
Well, and then
without a possession.
Within the first 3 minutes of the game, they got the ball starting at around the 30 twice. Yeah. So that's just fun.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're the top offense in the country.
Correct. Yes.
You're giving a great offense even better field position.
And honestly, I mean, our defense held up as much as they could. I mean, obviously
they're fine. I mean,
I knew Tennessee was going to be able to move the ball, obviously. But
yeah.
All right, here were some of my takeaways. I sat in the upper deck. Okay, I haven't sat in the upper deck in a long time, but I sat in the upper deck, had a good time. Everything was great, but I was able to see things that I don't normally see, especially if you watch a game on TV. You just don't know. But like, when you see Jaden Daniels back there looking for a couple of seconds and then he takes off running, I was like, well, he's got to have somebody open, right? No, he has nobody fucking open.
No, right? Yeah,
our receivers were locked up all game long, and I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I was like flabbergasted when I saw it because I was like, well, shit, that's the reason.
It's just not enough. To me, it's just not enough spacing, and then routes that take too long to develop. It's those two. That's really all it is. It's just Denbrock having a slow offense.
Schematic issue. It's the wide receivers are in just weird places for the routes, right? You look at the plays and you look at where they where they're bunched up and what a pro style offense would use in these bunched up formations, and he's running shit that they were running in like 2005, and you're sitting there like, what the fuck? Jaden Daniels has a great arm, and he wants to make the right decision, and that's good in a quarterback. But with an inexperienced offensive line that you have, that's just not a good offense.
Well, I didn't know if it was okay, the scheme or is something. I mean, these are the same wide receivers that I know that can get space. Like, so are we just running such a simple route concept that's easy to watch on film and say, okay, let's just lock these guys up because we know exactly what they're going to run? Like, I don't know what the answer is, but like Keyshawn Butte locked up, Malik Neighbors locked up, Jack Besh locked up. They're locked up. Like, there's nobody fucking open. And if Jaden Daniels is probably thinking, if I don't put this ball in the fucking money, it could get tipped or intercepted or whatever. So I just need to hold on to the ball or I need to take off running.
Right.
Because these guys aren't getting open. And I haven't seen enough people probably talk about that enough. A lot of people want to I know you put a tweet out, Jack, about people trying to put the blame on Jaden Daniels, which is fucking stupid. Especially if,
it's not that Jaden Daniels doesn't have things to work on, and he's
for
the quarterback,
sure.
so he's going to get most of the blame always. But I just it's like what you're saying. They're not open. People are saying there's got to be someone open. There's not.
No, I know. And that's what I'm used to. I'm used to like, okay, you're back there and there's, they're rushing 6 or 7. Obviously, there's somebody open. No, there's nobody open.
And then,
And
he it's like people say they don't want him to take off and run, and then he sits
Only
back there. He tries to sit back there, try to find guys open,
get sacked.
sacked, because the offensive line's not good. It's like
And
they're not open. They're
and
just
I
not
know
open, and he doesn't have time.
and we were just talking about the offensive line. I know they're not good, but I didn't see that being a problem at all in this game. Like,
The second Will Campbell was out, I was like, that's really going to be an issue.
but it really.
I was trying to be positive, so I didn't want to tweet anything.
I mean,
about
obviously
it,
we had
but
no running game, but like I just didn't see that, and we really didn't run just because we were already
no,
down
there
by
was
10.
no running game.
Yeah, we were in catch up
we-
mode from the
Get out of
very
that
beginning.
we were
run
forced to
game
go
was-
away from the run game early. Which,
Right, but
it's very unfortunate.
Yard
'Cause I think
touchdown. There's
But I
no-
didn't see like a lot of pressure to where it was like, oh, obviously our offensive line is banged up or whatever. I just didn't see that as being the huge issue with our
Oh,
offense.
I did. I
You
definitely
did?
did. Yeah,
I mean,
especially going back and rewatching the game. Unfortunately, a couple times.
Yeah, you're a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, I got it's content. And I thought my video today was actually surprisingly positive. I was
Yes.
expecting to like pull a bunch of offensive clips and come out with a negative kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then I was actually able to find like a bit of a positive spin. It actually didn't look that bad, but the negative plays almost entirely were them getting pressure, is what I saw.
Okay.
And a lot of times he has to hold the ball a little bit too long,
Well,
but
okay.
most of the time he doesn't even have longer than 2 seconds
Well, and
to
that's
like
another
really
thing.
even look.
All right, so most of those pressure plays are probably like 6 to 7 man rushes, I would assume, or we have 6 to 7 man protection.
It's a lot of them are max protect, but
So that's my
a
problem.
lot of times they're only sending 4 and they're still getting
Well,
pressure easily.
and that's fine.
That's what I saw.
And I understand that too. But like, if you have a max protect, that means you have no hot route at all. That's a coaching issue. If you know that they're going to be able to get pressure on you because your offensive line isn't good, and you have nobody there to like option out to as like a quick pass, like all of a sudden a guy breaks free, up the middle against the guard, you can dump it off to this back that's right there. Like, why can't we do that kind of stuff? And what's 7-8 man protection going to do against the 4-man front? Like,
right.
We're completely limiting ourselves.
I saw multiple times where usually Josh Williams, I think he got most of the play the other day.
Yeah,
he was about to like peel off for a little, just like whatever.
And somebody
like
like
a little dump off
somebody
route.
like
And Jaden's already on the floor, so it's just. I think they were trying to do things like that, but the pressure was getting home so quick that's just like there's just nothing you can do with that.
The offensive line,
the left tackle depth sucks. There's no one Other than Will Campbell, there is no one on this team who can play left tackle.
Who played mostly? Cam Wire?
I
Or did
thought
they
it was
move
No.
Bradford? They moved
Bradford.
Bradford over. Which
Bradford.
Bradford's a
Then-
guard, bro.
And
Like
then Dellinger got injured again too, so you had the entire left side of the line was out.
Bradford's a guard. Like what I wanted
Right.
was, okay, if you're gonna move somebody out there, why don't you move Miles Frazier out there? Like he was a tackle coming in here. I understand you've been playing him at guard, but like he's a fucking tackle. Like move him out there or move Cam Wire, who's played tackle, move them out there and keep your guards where they are. I know when Dellinger goes out, then it's a different story altogether. But
Right.
like, I don't know. I didn't like shuffling everybody just because you had Will Campbell out. Which we can talk about that. Will Campbell had a seizure, as what I heard. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but like
I've heard anybody with credibility said it was just a medical episode. No, I've heard
like a
from
cramp up seizure kind of thing, which I've had
Like a-
those. I've
which-
had that
heat
in high
exhaustion kinda
school.
thing?
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like
a
his
extreme
liver failed or kidneys failed.
kidneys. Yeah, it's like an extreme dehydration. You can't get enough water, and you basically seize up. And I had that before too. So
Man.
that I could understand why somebody would call it a seizure because that's what it
Mhm.
feels like probably. But yeah, I had to go to the I had to go to the hospital, get IVs and all that. But like, it didn't seem like it was going to be anything that was going to be out long. And I think he's playing this weekend. So, any other takeaways from the Tennessee game? Because it's kind of shit altogether.
I mean, I think Greg Brooks is a stud.
I agree.
That was fun.
I like seeing
Just
Greg
watch
Brooks.
him just continue to like make good plays, and it's like that wasn't just a one game kind of thing with
Right.
Auburn. He's legit. He's serious. He made a few plays. He had the sack, and then had a few stops at the line on third downs.
Yeah,
that hit on Hendon Hooker was
Dude,
gnarly.
holy shit.
We heard it. We heard it. Like
after he hit him, it took Hendon Hooker like probably two or three series to kind of get it back. Because every time he would throw the ball at that point, it was like short and things like that. I was like, oh my God, he's still rocked.
It looked like he broke 3 ribs on that.
I'll say
like
the second Greg Brooks made that hit, I was like, we're winning this game. Because that was coming off the touchdown. Stadium was back in it. Then they missed the kick, and I was like, "Oh, I've seen this before." And then
and it like stopped right before it was about to go down. It just nope.
And
I was with Tate and a bunch of his friends, and they all started losing it. And I'm like, hell yeah! And then it just kept getting worse. And I was
and
like,
then you looked over and Tate's passed out up against the exit. And
yeah, I sent that in the
Jesus
group
Christ.
chat. I just don't think y'all realized what that was. I showed Matt it, and I was like, the only reason I know it was Tate was because I was with him and I know what he was wearing.
Yeah.
Tate's fucking passed out by himself in Tiger Stadium. We need to zoom that in. Yeah, I didn't appreciate it at the time because I didn't know what I was looking at. But that was a great picture.
My bad.
Okay, what else? Tennessee. There was more things I was about to say before you said Greg Brooks, and I forgot what it was. But special teams is a fucking issue. How good would you feel right now, though, if we had beaten Florida State at the beginning of the season?
I mean, better. Yeah.
This would have been the first loss.
Better.
I mean, say we lost the same way. It wouldn't have been an 11 o'clock game.
Yeah. Let's say the extra point at the end of the game against Florida State doesn't.
Say we go for 2.
No,
say we go for 2.
Say we go for 2
thinking the same thing.
And we win the
Sure.
game.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, definitely feels different.
Yeah, because everybody's kind of like deflated right now. Like, okay, we're just not that good. We need to look.
Well, it's
like,
because
even Charlie, before we came on, you were like, "Well, we need to look at the staff after the season." And I'm like, I mean, what if we would have beaten Florida State? Like,
you definitely. But I mean, he's not wrong though. You still.
I agree.
You still have to look at offensive coordinator and special teams.
Yeah, this is antiquated offense, especially when you look at what Tennessee was running compared to what we just ran.
Yeah,
man, that fucking sucks. And
I mean, shit, pull a Nick Saban or a fucking Kirby Smart and go hire a former head coach who was an offensive genius.
Yeah,
I mean, you need to like that's what's working in college football right now.
Yeah, but is Brian Kelly that guy that's going to do that?
Fucking hope so.
Never has been.
He is an offensive guy.
He
sits in the quarterback room, so that's my concern. It's like Jimbo Fisher light kind of thing, where
I,
it's
I
like,
mean, we said this the second the hire was made. Brian Kelly teams are boring. They always have been boring. And we were kind of thinking maybe with the new talent, better talent, it'll be a little bit different. Maybe he'll do a little bit more, and he is doing a little bit more, I think, than he was doing at Notre Dame.
uh-huh.
But it's still just he never has really been about having a super innovative offense or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's usually slower,
Well,
tight
but
end
I mean,
based.
the
Run
successful
run the
teams.
ball,
Yeah.
tight ends,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yell at your
And
quarterback,
yeah,
things like
scream at your
that.
quarterback.
Dude, that video going out, I'm so glad it is because it shows that it's not because you saw the thing during the Auburn game when he was fucking red yelling at Garrett, right?
Yeah, Nuss.
And I was
Wait,
like, and everybody's
which
like, I
video
really
went
hope he's
around
doing
this
this
week?
to Jaden. Hmm?
He was yelling at Jaden. I'm
Yeah,
fine
yeah,
with
yeah.
yelling. I'm fine with yelling at your
But
players.
I'm like, that's
That doesn't
coaching.
bother
You
me at
have
all.
like everybody's like, I hope he's doing it to Jaden. I'm like, he probably is. We're just
Was it
not
the double
seeing it.
bird when he did the double bird? Like
Yes, but that's
everybody's
not what
clipping
was
that.
happening. It was he's like, there is this much fucking separation. Why are you not throwing it?
Oh, I see.
Oh, but it looked like he was doing double birds. Like there's
Yeah,
this much
it did. It
fucking
did.
separation, you fucking idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck you,
yeah.
Jaden. Piece of shit.
Like what Tommy Reese was saying to the Notre Dame quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's
Uh,
like, you could have blurred his mouth because we know what he's saying.
yeah, there's your offensive coordinator last year at Notre Dame. He's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right, I watched a good amount of Cincinnati last year. Like, and I know you had Desmond Ritter at quarterback, and you had a really good running back.
Jerome
Like,
Ford.
yeah, I think I just felt like it was even I know it was more zone read. I think they were doing a lot of zone read with Ritter. I just felt like they were, and I'm sure they had a much better offensive line. So I can't. It's hard to compare the two, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like this is what we were looking at then.
I think also like they're trying to like lean on the receivers because that's the best part of supposed to be the best part of the offense.
Can we just go ahead and
It
say that
feels like
that's
what they're trying.
overrated?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Can we just go
I said
say
that this week.
yeah? Can we just say Keyshawn Butte is not as good as he thinks he is right now? Like,
Right now.
I mean,
It's not, but it's Kayshawn's still good. He's still Kayshawn Booty.
I agree,
But
but
like,
like he's
yeah,
not
no,
gonna.
I
I
totally
mean,
agree.
in my opinion, I mean, we were all saying he's a top first round pick, all that kind of stuff.
top 10 draft pick.
After this year, I
We'll see.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah, he's got to turn around like probably this week.
you don't. I mean,
So
if I was an NFL team, I'd be like really questioning what's going on here. Like,
Hmm
I don't know.
I
I
think
hate
it's
to pick
got to
on
do with
him, but like
quarterback
they're all not doing
connection.
good.
You know, because I was telling Matt this before. I mean, everybody was talking about Mason Taylor going into the season because during spring ball and fall ball, he was the safety net. He was the guy running the crosser out at like 5 and in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's who Jaden Daniels was throwing to if he was getting under pressure. And Mason Taylor hasn't done anything, and Kayshawn wasn't there for spring ball because he was out still. So I think it's definitely a lot of it is quarterback familiarity too. Because yeah, Kayshawn's been there during practice now, but I mean, Max Johnson was throwing to Kayshawn when they were on the twos team. He was throwing to Kayshawn when they were on the ones team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I guess.
Kayshawn was Max's wide receiver.
I just if you're that kind of guy, if you're a top 10 kind of wide
Any
receiver,
quarterback should, yeah,
does
I
not
agree.
matter who's
It
throwing the
doesn't matter.
football.
Well, and
Especially when a guy's as good as Jaden Daniels. I mean, and
and
not to say Jaden's like, all American or anything like that, but he's a good quarterback.
yeah,
So it's not
and it
like
doesn't
Jaden's like
matter.
wildly inaccurate or something like
It
that.
doesn't
Catch the
matter
fucking
who's fuck.
ball.
It doesn't matter who's fucking guarding you either. Like
Mhm.
you can get
Yeah.
open. I've seen that kid his freshman year get
Mhm.
open all the
Eh,
fucking time.
And it's almost not even about getting open sometimes, because sometimes like you remember Ole Miss game when he has the crazy catch and
300
run.
yards. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, he wasn't that open on that play. He had maybe a step on the dude, and then
Mhm.
he just makes a ton of guys
Breaks
miss
it.
and has this
Yeah,
crazy rack for a touchdown.
yeah.
And I haven't seen that from any of the receivers this year, like
Mm-mm.
just having a bunch of like run after catch type stuff.
Right.
Like,
I
where
haven't
are those
either.
plays? I don't
The
see
only
that
one
anywhere.
I've seen is Brian Thomas a little bit
Yeah.
Ryan
doing that.
Thompson's done it
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Jack Besh, like, I mean, he doesn't really break tackles. I haven't seen Malik Neighbors do that. Uh,
Yep.
who else is there? I don't even know. I mean, DeRay Jenkins has completely disappeared. I almost feel like we need to get him the ball more
Well, he
because
dropped
he's
a
at least
touchdown.
sure-handed.
He dropped a touchdown pass last week.
Yeah.
This week he did?
Yeah.
No, he had a flag on a touchdown pass, a holding that
No,
threw
he
it away.
no,
And then
he
he dropped
dropped
one, too.
one. It
Yeah.
was a
Dropped one?
it was a post pattern right in his hands. He dropped it. He would have scored. Yeah. So
I also think it's a coaching thing. Like, when were our receivers the best? When we had Mickey Joseph, and Mickey Joseph is a great coach, but you could tell there was a difference between having Joe Brady was the receivers coach, right? When we won the national championship. There's a difference between having that guy who's a quarterback's coach as your receivers coach as well, and then having Mickey Joseph and Cortez Hankton as your receivers coach.
I mean, but
It's
you can't.
you're running different drills to make sure they understand, hey, if you've got a step on this guy, here's how you position your body when you make the catch to make a guy miss. Right? I think the difference in what they're learning from their individual coaches could be a big issue if we're not getting it right.
Yeah. No,
I
receiver
mean,
coach needs to
that's
be
why
looked
I
at
was
'cause
short to.
these guys are freaks. And
Yeah, and that's why I was short to like try to criticize Cortez Hankton, like who is a legit like wide receivers coach that
Mhm.
that we've just got. So, but it's like this guy knows how to coach wide receivers. Like I think we can agree with that. Like he's coached plenty of them that can get space with. I just feel like this has got to be just a scheme that is able to be looked at in film and like
Simplified.
completely picked apart. And that's what I'm worried about going forward. And we can kind of, if we want, you can move on to Florida because that's what I'm worried about. Because we even saw it against Ole Miss. I mean, against Auburn. Like we should have outclassed Auburn, and
yeah,
we were down 17, had to come back and win. It was just on the line all the time. Like, and I don't have faith that we can go in anywhere and like
Yeah.
beat somebody, even if we have more talent than them at
yeah,
this point. And
right.
that's scary, and I'm not used to that with LSU. And I don't know. That's why I'm worried about this game now. I mean, I had this penciled as a win.
Well, I think a big thing too, just if we're gonna move on to Florida, the special teams issues can't be a thing because
No.
I think if you go back to the
Turnovers too,
game,
just turnovers in general.
well, I don't think we really had any turnover issues against
We had
Tennessee.
our
I mean,
first offensive turnover last week.
Oh,
that
that's
was the
true.
first one.
I
That was a
think
fucking
so.
awesome play by that DB. But that's another play that I'm fucking talking about. You're talking about the pick at the very
Yeah,
end? Yeah.
I think so.
That was an awesome fucking play. The one he stabbed it with one hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
watched that play from an RV on my way to Fred's. Shout out to Fred's.
Shout out, Fred. They do the
And
fuck.
then that's another play that I'm talking about. Like Malik is there. Like, dude, you got to go make that play. Like, I mean, I know he tried to come back to the ball, and like, I just feel like you got to like be stronger than that. I don't know. I don't feel that like super extra effort. I just feel this like all the receivers. I feel like just this mediocre effort is coming out of all of them, except for Brian Thomas
Yeah.
and Jack Fitch.
What do you think about the second fucking players only meeting that just happened? I
That
didn't
was
even know about
that
it
was a
until
defensive one or what?
no,
Because
it
it was
was
Makai
Mackay.
Becton called it. Is
No,
that what someone said?
Gardner.
Mackay Gardner. Sorry, so it
Okay,
was
Gardner.
defensive.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Okay. I mean,
sorry. I was thinking it was an
have as many
offensive
as
one
you
again.
need. I actually I felt like Jaden was the point of that one last week was like Jaden needs to trust his receivers more. And I felt like he threw the ball around a lot more last week. So I actually saw the improvement there. It was just, we had so many mistakes early on. We are fighting out of a hole. I don't think it just didn't matter.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe that has a lot to do with what I was looking at, where it's like, okay, obviously the run game's gone because you're already down,
right.
10, 20 points.
The only time we ran the ball was in short yardage situations. I mean, we
Yeah, but
threw
it's
the
like
ball
at this
45 times.
point, the safeties can kind of like figure out what we're gonna do. They don't need to come up in the box. They can kind of like play over, and then you can play man against the. But I still like I'm not used to mediocre defenses playing man on LSU wide receivers and being able to just control it.
Make him
Right.
their bitch.
Yeah,
I've never
I
seen
think
it.
I like what you said about the safeties too, because I think it comes down to spacing and
Yeah.
just there's no spacing. Like we're not using the whole field, and then even if we are getting wide, like receivers are just running routes that are awfully close to each other, and makes it
So
so easy on these safeties
It
They can just
reminds
sit right
me.
up close to him, and it's like
All right,
there's nowhere for Jaden to go, obviously, because both
here's
guys are double teamed pretty much.
here's the old like Matt coming out. It reminds me of
Oh God.
Jerry DiNardo
Okay, that's
offenses.
fine.
Okay,
I thought you were saying
so
2020.
basically it's an I formation with a tight end, and you got 2 wide receivers, one on each side, and they both would just do a curl route, but you would do a rollout with Herb Tyler, and he would roll out to the right. Well, that means the guy that did the curl all the way on the left, it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
And everybody on the defense knew it didn't matter. So they all just shifted over. So you had one guy out in a pass route
Yeah.
against 5 defensive backs.
Right.
That's the kind of shit that I'm looking at when I look at it in the upper deck is like, oh God, like you got probably 3 or 4 guys out, but they're both on each side, and you got a quarterback who's running for his life, and he's all the way on the right side. Those 2 guys don't matter at this point, and they know it. So,
Right.
it's
It's
very
not-
frustrating to watch. It's like, okay, this has got to be a little bit cleaner and like a lot better game plan going forward, because I just don't trust that you're going to be able to go in the swamp and get a win playing like
Yeah.
that.
Especially, I mean, dude, Florida's got good DBs, and then who's over there? It's Corey fucking Raymond.
Yep.
So,
Oh, that's true. You don't think he's ready for this, huh?
yeah, absolutely. Those DBs are going to be,
Didn't think about that.
they got a fire under their ass. I'm sure he's going to try to light it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just with the offense is to me, I'm just going to sound like a broken record until it gets fixed. It's spacing. I mean, you watched Tennessee last week, and it's just like they have so much spacing. It's so easy for Hooker wow, I stumbled over that word so hard. For Hooker to like just make a quick read because it forces the defense's hand,
But all
The
right,
safety can't cheat one way or another because they're
yeah,
so spaced out.
and all right,
He's got to
here's an
commit.
example. Tennessee and LSU kind of ran the same play a couple of times. Tennessee runs it all the time, but it's like a wide receiver screen. They got 2 wide receivers in a little bubble all the way out to the sideline. They throw it out to one of them. One of them is blocking for them.
Mhm.
They would get. It was like
6,
it
7, 8
was
yards.
6, 7. It was almost like a glorified run play for
Like
them.
4 yards at minimum. I
Yes,
remember they had a couple
there
that I
was
was like, "Oh, good, we stopped them at the line," and they
there
were
was
like, "No,
enough
he got 5 yards." I
there was
like,
enough
"What?"
space for them to be able to do that. And when LSU did it, LSU ran the exact same fucking play.
Mhm.
LSU does it, and it is like stoned. Like
Mhm.
there's the guys are right up on them. I just
And
can't understand
there'll
what
be
the
2
differences of
receivers
these
there to
teams are.
block, and then 1 corner, and they'll somehow whiff on the 1 fucking corner, and I just
Yeah,
don't get it. Like,
I don't either.
So
is
I know exactly what's going on, and that is our only play out of that set.
Mm-hmm.
There 100%. There's no other play that we run pass wise, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
so
that you
it's a
guys.
Warner just
tell.
knows what's coming.
It's a tell.
Yeah,
If we run out of that set, you could probably tell by the running back stance if it's a run or a pass. You saw it. Somebody was breaking down Cincinnati tape. You could tell when Joe Mixon is running the ball versus when he's pass blocking, or
yeah,
he's running like it's a pass play and he's not really doing anything. Because if it's a pass play, he's standing straight up. But if they check
Mhm.
to a run, he's going to get down into his stance to get a little bit lower. And
yes,
it's a tell all to the defense. And I think it's the exact same with our route tree where we're not running comp to each other. And Matt and I were talking about this before the podcast, but if you're running 4 hooks on a play and they're identical, what's the point? Who's going to
yes,
be open?
yeah, and
Yeah.
and they all just stop. Nobody moves with the quarterback. Like they just
Yeah.
stay there. Yeah,
Or
it's brutal
yeah, and
to
then
watch.
or we'll have a bunch of plays where like you have a bunch of guys that are running like a very similar like post or a skinny post or something like that, and they're all running it, and then no
Yeah.
one's running like a shorter route
Right.
in case those aren't open. And I just don't. I can't tell you how many times during the game, like on TV, they would show, uh, like Jaden, his offensive line, the pressure coming, and you can't see any of the receivers because they're all so far downfield. And it's
Mhm.
just like, if there's nothing open downfield, he's fucked. Like he's just completely fucked. And I don't know
Yes.
if maybe the idea of it is that they want like him to have room to take off and run, maybe. Um, but if that option's not there and they contain him, then it's fucked. It's just
Yeah.
completely fucked.
It's like Mike Denbrock's playing fucking Madden, to be honest. Like it's like he downloaded fucking Pete Carroll's offensive scheme and just did whatever Russell Wilson was doing. And how you play with Russell Wilson is you run 4 verts
Yeah.
and you wait for all of them to get down there, and then you take off and you get whatever you could get, right? And it's like that's what he wants to do, but that's not football. That's fucking Madden. Like,
So Florida has got a poor rush defense.
yeah,
It's similar to Auburn though. So I think we ran for like 185 against Auburn, something like that. So I'm hoping you'll be able to run the ball against Florida, and that can change some things. I don't know if that makes a that big of a difference, but I just can't see you keep getting down like you're getting down in these games and keep trying to come back. Like you're just going to put everything in a disaster mode.
Kelly said it. That's not how you win the bulk of this SEC schedule.
I mean, it's at Florida at night. I just can't see Florida just not being ready to play.
Yeah. No. I think I'm about to put a tweet out tomorrow. Like you can't have 2 teams that need a win like more than these 2 right now. I mean,
And
it's
you
just
got to remember
both teams are in the same spot.
You got to remember the last time that LSU was at Florida, and I know this is a different coaching staff on both sides and all that, but like that's gonna have to be talked about. And I'm sure with Florida, it was like the last time we played these guys, what happened. Like I don't know, it's just such a huge game always.
There've been so many transfers from these teams though that like I almost don't even know.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's around?
That's true
From that team.
Yeah.
From that game, I mean,
well,
I'm sure there's some. It was only 2 years ago, but
yeah.
I mean, I can
obviously.
Well, even last year, you can talk about last year with TDP and all that, and Anthony Richardson. You know,
right?
almost came back to beat us.
To get at.
True.
Richardson's a great quarterback, but he makes mistakes like nobody's paying attention. Like, I mean, what was his stat line versus Tennessee?
Jack? Yeah, Jack. You posted a tweet about
offense. So this is the same. This is all the same guy. Has thrown 7 interceptions in his last 5 games.
Yes.
Has a 500-yard all-purpose yard game against currently a top 6 team with 4 touchdowns in that same game. Had 300 yards of offense against Utah with 3 touchdowns. I don't even like it's all the same guy. And then last week he had 66 yards passing against Missouri.
Yeah, he's like all over the place.
Just an absolute.
After we saw the Utah game, I was thinking, holy shit, this guy is like,
and he is. He is a freak.
Yeah,
absolutely. But, I mean, and when he makes the right read, he's a premier college football quarterback. I mean, he's maybe the most talented quarterback in the country.
Right.
Just talent. Between the ears, it's a different story.
He had 112 yards passing and 24 yards rushing versus Southern Florida.
Yeah.
South Florida. My bad. Whatever.
Southern Florida. Southern Florida is like NAIA or something.
I don't know. Whatever. But not. And it was a close game. It was 31-28.
It was a really good game. And South Florida's terrible. South Florida's
South Florida isn't good at all. 1-4,
1-5, something like that.
They're not good. And then
that's the heckle.
But then the very next week,
But
then the very next week they play Tennessee close on the road.
Right.
So it's just this Florida team's not. You can't look at one game in their worst game and say like,
are you going to get good? Are you going to get good Anthony Richardson or bad Anthony Richardson?
And it's I mean they're not an easy team to play when the swamp is romping. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I can see they're not going to get up for South Florida as much as they're going to get up for LSU.
No,
coming in there. So,
and I have a feeling it's going to be
this guy's going to make
pretty loud crowd.
Yeah, he makes a lot. He makes a lot of mistakes, but I mean,
and we just had a players only meeting, so
that's right.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if we do what we have, I think for the last 5 weeks, where Jaden Daniels only has 1 total turnover, right, or 2 total turnovers. I think he's got an interception and a fumble lost in the Florida State game.
Mm-hmm.
You have an offense who only gives up the ball when they punt it.
I don't even remember that one against Florida State.
It's like that. That's what I'm saying is I don't remember if that might not have even happened. That could just be like me.
I'm gonna check. Keep talking.
you've got an offense who doesn't really give the ball up. Like Jaden Daniels really made his first mistake last week in garbage time, trying to just crawl back to something positive, right? And the dude made a great play.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
if
Yeah.
you
I
could
mean,
control the
that's
run
him throwing up
game,
a little fade.
right?
Corner makes a
If you could
play. They can't
control
be
the
worried
run
about that.
game on our part and just try to stay on the field as long as we can, he's going to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
So can you capitalize on it? Can Greg Brooks go out there and just hit him like it's a freaking body bag, just repeatedly, right? Can Makai Gardner or Makai Wingo do something other than run block or run stopping, right? Can your playmakers make really good plays early?
Yeah.
So
You know,
I don't know.
I
I'm
think
like Matt. I'm worried about it.
what I was thinking with this game is I want to see like some of the senior guys step up. I'm thinking like Jere Jenkins, Josh Williams, like guys like that. Just with all these young guys who like Kayshawn and Malik, who just aren't having great games right now. I'd like to see those guys kind of step up. Jay Ward, another one.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and kind of have a better game.
Yeah, and like Greg Brooks, like
Yep.
did you think that Greg Brooks was going to be like our stud in the defensive backfield? I
I
mean,
thought he could be. I mean, he was really good at Arkansas,
I actually
but
thought Joe Fauci was going to be a bigger story, and I know he was out for the first few games, but
right.
like
Is
I
he?
also thought Jay Ward was just going to be that guy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of. I haven't seen much of Jay Ward.
Bernard
Um,
Converse coming
We're in
in.
a yeah.
I mean,
yeah, no, the corners are bad. The corners are bad.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. I like Makai Gardner. I didn't really notice him much this past weekend. I don't know if he was one of the guys that got burned on any of those plays.
They
Mhm.
all did.
I
All
mostly I saw Colby Richardson getting burned. I
Mhm.
don't think he's. I mean, he
Maybe
plays for
that
LSU,
should
so
that
I'm
should
not
have
going to
been.
shit on him. But
I mean,
I don't
that
think he's a
yeah, but
player.
that should have been our red alert time
He's
for the
fucking.
podcast.
That's what I said. That's what I said before week one. During week 0, I was like, I don't think we have good corners, and y'all were like, I think.
Oh
I
no,
was like,
yeah,
we
that was
don't
probably
have.
me. Oh no,
I
yeah,
said
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't have a lockdown corner, and y'all were like Bernard Converse.
I was
I was
like
like,
Colby Richardson.
No,
who?
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
was.
I
I
didn't
think
say that.
yeah. I don't know. We're at such a weird spot where
Yeah.
you've got Jay Ward who's moved to 3 different positions in the last 4 years, right? He was an outside corner, slot corner that first year when we won the
Mhm.
national championship. Then he switched to nickelback safety. Now he goes from being your center field safety to being your nickel corner again. And you've got the 2 Arkansas guys back there who are just trying to figure out their communication now.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's like you're in, and JBC's playing center field now, right? He's playing the nickel, whatever Jay Ward safety that was playing. Like
Mhm.
Jay Ward was playing safety,
And
like,
I feel
because
like
Major Burns is out.
yeah, and I feel like we're kind of shitting on the defense, but at the same time,
They're
we did
they're
all
not
we could
playing bad.
againwe did all
Yeah.
we could
No,
against
no, no.
Tennessee.
I just don't think. I mean, I think the corners are. I said the corners are bad. I don't mean that. They're just not elite. There's not an elite
Yeah.
guy on this. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Garner has the upside of being elite, but
Mhm.
I don't think he's there yet. And then we just don't have like that lockdown corner that we normally have. There's
Yeah.
just it doesn't exist, and I think
And
this goes really well into our the other
yeah,
thing we wanted to talk
okay,
about,
yeah.
which is
Let's move
Eli
on.
Ricks.
Eli Ricks posted on his Instagram story. I think he said something like,
I'll bring it up.
yeah, what is it? It was like it wasn't even really
Something
English.
about coming back or something.
Yeah, okay. I know what to do. Uh,
Yeah,
and
it's
what
from
did
a
it say?
song. I
Then
don't even know
come.
what's.
I know what
What
to
Then
what's
do.
the last? What's the last
I
thing?
think the full lyric
Then,
is like "Then come back" or something.
yeah, then
Then
come
come,
back. Then come
come
back.
back. Okay.
Come
Yeah.
back
So
to
I know
you,
what to
something like
do.
that.
Then come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the hot topic. What yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
After he posted this, I know where I stand on this. What are y'all's
Yeah.
thoughts?
Um.
I think all
Yeah.
y'all know where I stand on it, but
Yeah. I mean, I think, and I get that side of it,
sure.
but I'm also like, if he wanted to come back here and play for us Saturday, I think you'd have to be insane to say no, because I mean, I understand that he's a head case, all this, but like, I don't think he did anything that was that bad, like locker room wise, other than just kind of like opting out like a lot of other guys did. And I
Yeah.
understand that you want a different culture and all that, but this team, I think, not desperately needs a lockdown corner, but could use a lockdown corner. That would be nice to have one. And
I
I
don't
think
think
it's gonna,
anybody's doubting. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. Like,
Yeah.
but yes, we want a lockdown corner, and we want somebody as talented as Eli Ricks back here.
I just don't. I think a lot of people are putting him in like the Eric Gilbert category, and he's not that kind of a guy.
Head
I don't think
case.
he's that kind of a head case. You know,
No,
Eric
he's a
Gilbert's
head
a
case like
completely different situation.
Derek Stingley was a head case,
Which, I mean,
which
how much
nobody likes to
people
talk
love-
about. Nobody likes
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Yeah, but
Like,
I just think it's
because it's like you love a guy and you're like, no, he's not.
well, you know how talented he is,
Yeah.
but then the I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna speak the truth. The entitlement starts to come through, and all of a sudden they're too good for this team, and the team's not performing the way that they thought it was gonna perform, and so we're not gonna try as hard as we need to try. And I'm telling you, I see a little bit of that out of Keishon Butte, and that's where I'm like, okay, when is enough with some of these guys? Eric Gilbert, you mentioned him. Obviously, that's one, but that was a completely. I mean,
yeah.
if we
That's
really want to be honest, we can talk about that. But like,
we don't have to be.
we don't.
Yeah.
But like, Derek Stingley is a great example of like everybody loves Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley is the great player from 2019, and now he's
Yeah.
playing in the pros. That's great. Everybody forgets Derek Stingley in 2020, and you definitely forgot him in 2021. But like, that kid did not want to play. He did not want to play. He didn't want to play for a team like that. And he was bitching the entire time, and nobody remembers any of that stuff. And it created a problem. And then you had Ricks on the other side, and it created a problem. Like, it was just a bad culture. Like, if you're gonna get rid of Ed Ogeron, you're gonna bring a guy like Brian Kelly in, clean the fucking house, clean it all up. I am at the point where I'm like, should Keishon and Butte had gone to Alabama? Like, should he have just gone to Alabama and just
I don't
get it
know.
over
Where
with?
would I don't
Cut
think
it
that.
out and let's get it over with. Like, we scratched and clawed to get this guy back here, like, because we know how talented he is, right? I'm using this as the example of Eli Ricks.
Yeah.
Like, say you wanted to get Eli Ricks back here because you know how talented he is, and this is what we're gonna get? Like, like right now he's at Alabama. He's probably bitching and moaning, and he's sitting the bench. Like, that's probably what should happen, and we don't have that kind of culture.
And
I don't know.
he needs a Nick Saban, and he needs a Nick Saban that's brutally honest with him. Because, like, if you've ever, when I got bored, especially when I was in high school, I'd watch the Nick Saban at Alabama, like they used to put out the summer training camp stuff,
right?
and you would get some uncensored
honesty.
Nick Saban,
Yes,
right? You would get some shit where you're like, God damn, dude,
yeah,
like, because you see, it was probably like Edo, like, not always brutally honest like that Nick Saban, but like sometimes he'd do some pandering, right? Eli Ricks had that relationship with Edo since he was at USC, and that's why he came to LSU, right? That was pretty much, like, I think that's pretty openly the reason why he was at LSU, was because the relationship he had with Edo from the time he was like fucking 12, when Ed was like, I want you on my team when you grow up. That's why he ended up there. To just, you had Keishon, and it felt like maybe at the end of Ed's tenure,
doesn't it feel like when these guys hit adversity, like all of a sudden they're like a different player? Like,
right?
Why does that happen? Like, it's almost like right now we need guys who are okay with adversity. Like, yeah, they may not be in. I agree. You need better players at the end of the day, but like, I almost feel like it would take a step back, just because I hate to use the word cancer, but bro, I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, can you imagine? Let's for example, can you imagine after this Instagram story comes out, Eli Ricks is walking back into the Alabama locker room.
Yeah.
For Tennessee week, right? Tennessee week for Alabama. He's walking back into the locker room. Everybody else is seeing this fucking story. Like, what do you think they're doing to him right now? Like, what do you think the coaching staff is? Like, what a fucking cancer. Why would you fucking do that? Like,
I didn't think of that.
So
Yeah.
I also think to go back on the Kayshawn and Eli thing, it's also a recruiting thing because these guys, especially like Eli, these guys were the shit from the time they were 12 to the time they graduated high school, right? Quinn Ewers, Eli, Kayshawn. I don't know that much about Kayshawn's recruiting, but I mean, especially some of these 5-stars where like, so a guy like Derek Barnett. Do y'all remember Derek Barnett?
yeah.
The quarterback that went to Alabama and then Arizona State.
Blake
and then
Barnett.
Blake Barnett. That was it. My bad. But he had a quarterback coach from the time he was like fucking 8 till the time he graduated high school. And then he had his own personal quarterback coach while he was in college. He had his own, this, that. Like these guys are growing up with some entitlement to the fact that their parents are paying an exorbitant amount to have them seen by these specialists that work them out 24/7.
And I'm not trying to say that like guys, like everybody's gonna get fucking paid now. Like, so entitlement's gonna happen, but it's like, okay, when you like legit just like quit on your team, or you legit like bitch about your team on social media and shit like that, like, all right, then bye, see you later. Like, what do you think's good? What's the good that's gonna come? This is like Nick Saban probably talking to this fucking guy. Like, what did you think was gonna happen out of that? Like, the good out of that. Like, this is your life lesson now, because now you're sitting in the fucking bench and this is your money year, and like you're trying to get drafted, dumbass. Like, what are you doing? But like, I like how you only had that one time to like transfer with no like sitting out. Well, now you have to sit out. Like, isn't it like a one-time transfer, and now if you do it a second time you have to sit out again? So like, even if he wanted to come back, like he'd have to sit out a year anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because also a lot of guys are fumbling the money year this year.
Absolutely. I mean,
Jerome Burton, who transferred to Alabama too.
Oh yeah.
Jermaine Burton. One-time LSU commit. Fumble. He's barely touched the ball at Alabama.
Why the fuck did he leave Georgia?
I don't know.
I didn't even know he did until like 2 games into the season. Like the Texas game, I'm seeing Burton for Alabama, and I'm like, why the fuck did he leave Georgia? Like, they just won the national championship. Stetson Bennett looks great right now. Like, they're
And
not
he was
obviously
Stetson Bennett's safety guy, other than whoever the fuck the tight end is. Who's their tight end?
Brock Bowers. Yeah,
Brock Bowers. Other than Brock Bowers, he was a safety net. They had one of the best 1-2s in college football at the wide receiver position.
Is Eric Gilbert even played at all this year?
He did, and then he's gotten like kicked out again.
He's kicked off the team again? Something
like that.
I mean, they have two stud.
Yeah,
they have two stud tight ends that
Darnell, what's his face, who's like
Darnell Washington, who's
6'6", 260.
Darnell Washington might be like, even when Eric Gilbert's at his best, Darnell Washington actually might be better than him.
I agree. I think Darnell Washington
and Eric Gilbert is really fucking good.
I think Darnell Washington
is so fucking good.
He'll be a better pro tight end than Brock Bowers will.
Ooh, I could see that.
Tough.
Yeah.
I know. That's a hot take.
I could see Brock being like
like, I mean, dude,
I don't know. Like, the guy's a fucking.
I haven't seen Brock block. I haven't seen Brock block all that too much, but I know, dude, Darnell, that's how he's gonna make his money. Darnell's like a freaking extra tackle.
Yeah, and he
can move
with the ball in his hands.
And he can move.
And he can hurdle guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's how he makes money.
Yeah.
All
right, let's move on.
Sorry.
That's enough, Eli.
Yeah, that was...
I got heated. I got steamy. LSU, Florida. We need to give our predictions for this. And honestly,
I haven't even given a thought to the prediction of it yet.
I'm
like way behind because I needed to take a couple of days off earlier this week to just like
decompress.
Cope. Yeah.
I had us winning this game at the beginning of the season, and it was weird because I was like, okay, we're gonna go at Auburn, we're gonna win. We're gonna lose to Tennessee at home. We're gonna go at Florida and win. It was like all the road games we were gonna win, and I also still have Ole Miss. I think we're going to lose to Ole Miss at home. So all right, LSU, Florida. Charlie, you want to go first?
So actually, I was about to say, I think I've been spot on the money on my beginning of the season predictions, other than the Florida State game. I said we were going to split
Congratulations.
Auburn, Florida, and I'm about to say I think we're going to lose.
But
But
you said you
I
were going
said
to
we were
lose
going to split
to
Auburn and Florida. We're going
Tennessee though
to
too.
lose to Tennessee, and then I said at the beginning of the season 3 straight, depend to Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas. But I think we beat Arkansas now. But other than that, I think I've been spot on. Anything other than the Florida State game.
I had us beating Arkansas and Texas A&M, and I'm still kind of there, but who knows? I just need to see a little bit more. But
give me 28, 23 Florida. I think we're losing.
28-23 Florida. Jack,
Could
are you
also
ready?
be 28-23 LSU, but like I'm just thinking based off of what I've seen last week, what I've seen offensively, I really don't know what's going to happen. Dude, it's the swamp. Fuck.
I think earlier this week I was saying that like the offense is regressing, and I then after the last 2 days when I had to rewatch the game a couple times, I actually think that the offense did improve against Tennessee this past week. They moved the ball consistently all day. It was just fourth down stops. Ended up showing goose eggs on the scoreboard over and over again.
Where you could have put up a field goal. We didn't talk about that, but you could have put up the field goal at one point. You went for it, but it was just like, I mean,
hindsight is 20/20. But you should have kicked that field goal.
You should have kicked it.
We would
have missed the field goal
first down, but they didn't have the angle for it.
We would have missed the field goal, and it would have never mattered. So whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Right,
but anyway, I thought the offense actually did improve this past week, and I think it will continue improving. And I think you get with Will Campbell back, and that was like the biggest piece that was missing from the offense this past week. I think you get him back, and that's going to be huge. You should be able to start running the ball because you shouldn't be down 10-0 in the first 5 minutes. Fingers crossed. I'm assuming that special teams issues, not that they're a one-time thing because they've been an issue all year, but like I don't think special teams are going to be as bad as they were this past week.
Just don't drop the ball.
I don't think you're going to fumble a kickoff.
Yeah.
Shit like that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this Tennessee game could have been a lot closer without like some of these like small little things that are easily correctable. I say all that to say that's a very long-winded way of saying that I think we do beat Florida. And I think it's going to be something like 27-24. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I think it's going to be a good game too. You actually made me feel better there with that. Yeah, more of like, okay, we just saw like a really bad performance, and it's not some of the things that happened in that game aren't going to happen in this game. You're not going to drop kickoffs. You're probably not going to have muff punts. You're not going to have shit like that, hopefully.
If you do, Florida's going to blow us out.
Yeah. And I still think about the Auburn game with this. Like, Auburn came out hot. Robbie Ashford's thrown for 330 on us, for crying out loud. And that's what's really worried me is you're going to have good Anthony Richardson, and they're going to be up for us. They come out 7-0 or something like that. How do we respond in the swamp? If we can't run the ball, what's our offense look like? We can't get fucking separation on anybody. And that's why I picked Florida 23-17, which was very depressing for me to pick Florida to beat LSU this year. That I think it's I don't think it's good. I'm getting closer to the 6-6 range right now.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Zone. I think that's the big reason that this week is so must win.
It is huge
because if you lose this game, you're looking at dropping down to 4-5, and then you
got
go
Ole
on the road
Miss
to
and
Arkansas.
Alabama.
Because like if you lose this week, you're not beating Ole Miss or Bama.
No.
You're probably not
Absolutely
beating
not.
Bama regardless. But if you lose this game, you're not beating Ole Miss next week. You have to win this game, I think, to have a chance at beating Ole Miss.
And then you're looking at
it's college football, so crazy things happen. But
and then you're looking at 4 losses in a row, and you want to see some
right.
depressed Baton Rouge,
right, and then you
LSU
go on the road
fans.
to Arkansas with just
No momentum.
sour grapes.
Yeah.
It's just, and then you finish the year at A&M.
By then, we'll have Eli Ricks in the
Ah,
locker room,
man.
so we'll be good.
Like you're looking at potentially 5 and
it's bad.
7 if you lose this week. Like 5 and 7's on the table if you lose this week. You could lose the rest of your SEC games if you lose this week.
And then you got UAB coming in hot.
I mean, UAB's not a rental win if you lose this week. I'm telling you right now. Like you have to win this week. You have to
Jesus
win this
Christ.
week. Momentum-wise, you have to win this game. I don't know what Florida's schedule situation is, but I'm sure it's similar.
Yeah.
I think
they got Georgia in 2 weeks, so
we're not taking the Mississippi State game in the picture enough because
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I think Arkansas is not as sure a loss as a lot of people think it is. I'm still up in the air about it, but dude, their defense is not playing great. Their linebackers and like 2 of their defensive linemen are good, but that back 5, those 4 back guys, the
is
safeties,
Tennessee's back 5 like all these
they're not
world
good.
beaters? They're not. So if you don't win this week and you don't start correcting your offensive issues, it doesn't matter who the DBs
well,
are.
I
You're not
will
gonna be
say
able to run the
this.
ball.
Against Mississippi State, one of the keys to coming back was our running game. Our running game really did get us back in there.
Right.
So if we're not able to run the ball, maybe that's it. You run the ball, we can be way more successful.
Which is why I feel pretty
more
good
balanced.
about this Florida game. We should be able to
Okay,
at least try to run the ball.
I just
because we weren't even trying to run the ball against Tennessee.
I just appreciate y'all getting me in a good mood.
And look what Mississippi State did to A&M, man. A&M's got a great defense. A&M's got a damn good run defense, and Mississippi State ran it up their freaking throat.
How surprised were you that Alabama just didn't I know they had a backup quarterback in, but that they didn't just run roughshod over A&M.
It was really the turnovers, wasn't it?
Yeah,
bad play calling, bad plays. I mean, it's obvious Jimbo's outdated offensively.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Well,
but Alabama going to Tennessee. Bryce Young, do they know if he's going to play yet? Is it still
I think Bryce Young's still out.
Game time decision
up in the air.
Okay.
Day to day still.
I got Tennessee winning.
Well, if Bryce Young's not playing, I do too, probably.
If Bryce Young plays, then I think Bama by 2 scores.
And Alabama just looks like a vulnerable team defensively, offensively.
I think they're fine on. I think
can we talk about
defense? But I think Tennessee is still going to be able to score because their offense is that good.
Can we talk about the?
It's going to be such a fun game.
Can we talk about the amount of Tennessee fans that showed up Saturday?
There were less than I thought, to be honest.
What?
It wasn't the same as the Georgia takeover. I saw people saying
not the same as the Georgia takeover, but
it was not even close.
It was probably the second most away
I'd say
fans that I've seen.
Yeah,
somewhere between 15 and 20,000. I don't think they got as high as 20, but
they were in the only fucking section of Tiger Stadium with shade. Was the away side, the away end zone was the only section with shade
in there. So
but they were no. Hold on, Tennessee were the only fans in the East Upper Decks. Yeah. The only fans that were there. It was just orange. They had one fucking upper deck that was just orange. So there was a lot of fucking people there.
Yeah,
they took over the West too. I was in the West Uppers, and they took that over quickly. Mm-hmm. So they're loud, and they're not only that, but they coming from Tennessee is a haul. But they all went to New Orleans. Obviously, came to Baton Rouge, but they're loud and they're ready to win, and that's what I could see Alabama going into a hornet's nest this Saturday. They're fucking ready. They've been waiting around for this for a long time.
I know people say that Tennessee fans sit on their hands and stuff at Neyland and all that, but I think that's going to be one of the best atmospheres that has ever happened in college football in the last 10 years. One of the best.
Yeah,
this
I
weekend.
agree.
What
It'll
I
be
heard
awesome.
about Neyland is Neyland has the tiniest fucking seats you will ever find at a football stadium.
They do. So if you've never been, like, basically you can see, because they used to be in a attendance race war with not race war, I shouldn't say race war. That's
Jesus,
not good.
Christ.
An attendance war with Michigan. So every year they would try to up Michigan with how many seats they had in the stadium.
Right.
Well, if you go, you can see obviously where you're sitting in seat 25. They've scratched off 25 and they moved it over a little bit so they could squeeze everybody in and fill the seats a little bit more, so they can win the race war again.
The race war. Talk about a fucking slip
That's
up.
gonna be the name
Tennessee's
of the
ever won a
podcast.
race war.
That's gonna be Tennessee always loses the race war.
Jesus.
That's gonna be the name of the podcast episode.
That's
Oh,
gonna get me in
man.
trouble one day.
We lost the race war.
Golly.
All right. On that note, let's thank our sponsors. Who
Sure.
we have? We have Bocock Brothers Cigars. Doug Bocock, he actually reached out to me. He says he's going to be in for the Ole Miss game and probably going to be at Fred's. And he just texted me and he said, "Let's rage." I was like, Jesus Christ, what does that
Rage.
mean? Yeah. I was like, easy, brother. But yeah, he'll be there. He'll be having some cigars probably at Fred's. And that'll be the Barstool show will be at Fred's at 12:30. I wish that game wasn't a 2:30 kick. I wish it was more of a night game if we were going to do it that way, but is what it is. So check out Bocock Brothers Cigars, bocockbrothers.com. Have golf gear as well, and they have a new signature line cigar coming out here soon. Also, Courtesy Automotive Group, Brandon Lejean at Courtesy. Look at that beautiful head.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon over at Courtesy, give him a call. You can also check him out on Facebook. He does a lot of he has deals on Facebook all the time. But if you call him at 337-224-1867 or text him, let him know what you're looking for. Let him know that the podcast brought you over. He'll hook you up for sure. So
He will let you rub his bald head.
yes, he will. You can like shine it and everything. He's all ready for Matt McMahon. He's posting. He's got this LSU Facebook group, and he's steadily, since it's a bad season in his standards, he's posting basketball shit all the time. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm getting my basketball content library.
Yes, I saw
filled
that.
up. It looks like nobody really cares about basketball right now because it didn't really get much attention. But
Right.
yeah, I'm building up the library.
Yeah.
It's,
So what do we have?
expect-
4 weeks until
4 weeks
basketball
today.
season. You
4
said
weeks today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's November 9th is day one
Gotcha.
against UKWC or something like that.
Oh no, UMBC, huh?
No, that's not
UMBC?
it. That's not it.
Kentucky Wesleyan.
Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be. I think it'll be fun to get into a new season at this point.
Yeah, right. Kansas City Ruse. The Kansas, University. Wait, what? What does this even stand for?
Missouri,
Kansas City.
Missouri at Kansas City.
University of Missouri at Kansas City.
Okay,
That's
all
it.
right. Yeah, I don't even know what league they're in or anything.
They're called the Ruse.
The Ruse. Okay.
Mhm.
The
more you know.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up with that. What's the scores again? Charlie, you had 28-23?
28-23.
Jack?
Actually, I'm going to change it, though. 28-25, Florida.
Okay, well, I'll text you tomorrow to remind me of that.
Yep.
And then what did you say, Jack?
27-24. Tigers.
LSU. Wow,
Yeah.
you're the only one picking LSU. 23-17 Florida for me. Wow, Jack is Mr. Positive on this episode.
Yeah, wait, you know what? I'm
usually
the only
you
one
are.
who watched the film, so
That should be a good sign.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up for Charlie. We appreciate you, Jack. It has been One Team, One Podcast.
Logan out.
Out.